So I was just going to share a few slides just to tell you sort of generally the type of thing that I do. So I'm just trying to find my share button. Where's my share button gone?
Sarah, it's just at the bottom.
Oh, it's down at the bottom.
Exactly, the green one.
Moves around. Didn't know that. Okay, here we go. So I just wanted to show you this book because this is a great book for anyone. I've read it sort of in the last few years, but it's really accessible book. It's really interesting. It's about the life of Henrietta Lacks. This was a woman, she actually died of cancer of the cervix, but her cells, the actual tumour was collected, and they were the first cells that could be ever grown. And these cells were actually my inspiration to start a scientific career. They grew in culture, and you can see them down here on the left-hand side. I got to see them actually on the right side here. You can see these are how cells are kept in an incubator. So this is an environment which is completely sterile, so they don't get contaminated. And it's also, when you close the door, it's a humidified environment at 37 degrees. So it's like being inside your body, and the cells will grow. And you can use these cells as a way of developing drugs. And that's what I was first interested in. And so I originally went to King's College to study pharmacology. I had no idea what pharmacology was until somebody mentioned that it was the study of drugs. And so I thought, this is what I want to do, is develop drugs and new medicines. And I just think one point, don't worry where you end up going to university. As long as you're doing the subject that you enjoy, don't worry what university it is. Don't worry if you don't get into the one maybe that you really thought was going to be amazing. You'll have a great experience, because mainly the experience is about the friends you meet and make. And the rest of it, you're going to be learning the same stuff. I actually chose King's, not because it was a great place, even though it was a very good place. I chose it because it was in London near Topshop, and I was really impressed with Topshop when I went for my interview. So we can have all different reasons for choosing where we go. So I studied pharmacology, which is looking at drugs and how they work on the body, and then designing new drugs. So drugs could be something produced in the body, it could be a natural project, it could be a synthetic or something man-made. And so my career path was that I did my A-levels in the UK. You do these and you get them at age 18. I then did a degree and a PhD, which was another 3 years of research. Then I went to California, which was amazing. And during my career, I've had 2 kids. So yes, you can be a mum and obviously have a career. That is not an issue. This is me when I was a long time back, when I was in San Diego in California studying, which had an absolutely amazing time. One of the things I had not appreciated before I became a scientist was the amount of travel opportunities. I've traveled all over the world because of my science, because I get invited to conferences. It's been a pity with lockdown. Obviously, I've missed out on a lot of that travel. But anyway, and I live in London. I love London. It's my favourite city in the world. So I've always enjoyed everything that London has to offer. And although that I'm a scientist, I'm really into the arts. I like going to art exhibitions, and I love sewing and being creative. So yeah. So this is just to say, these are a few people that have been in my lab and worked with me, and just to say that you don't even though you have a degree, a science degree, you don't have to end up being a scientist. So you could end up doing other things. You could end up being a teacher, but you could also be an entrepreneur. This down in the bottom right, this is Mark, who went up and he's set up his own business, and he's probably, you know, been done fantastically well on his own. And this is another of my students who's ended up really doing fantastically well. As Melissa mentioned at the beginning, I do, you know, as I say, I'm very creative. I like doing things with artists, and this is one of my things that I did, which is a heart and lung repair shop. Probably haven't got time, but it's on YouTube, so look it up, the Heart and Lung Repair Shop, and you'll see all the things that we did in that shop. It's a science pop-up shop that existed for just a couple of weeks in an empty shop. We transformed this empty shop and we put all these different things in it, lots of fictitious products, like here we've got stem cells on sale and things like that. So it was a lot of fun. And just because it is International Day of Women in Science, I really wanted to make the point that, you know, women can make it in science. It's not an unusual thing. And actually, this is the department that I work in, and 65% of the professors in our department are women. So there's many more women than there are men. And so don't think that you can't make it because a woman, you're not a man, because that is just rubbish nowadays. I work on the bone marrow because it's the place where all your stem cells and blood gets made. And I will just say that I'm interested in, you know, there's two types of stem cells, and I'm interested in this second type that is in the bone marrow, that is important for repairing tissues. And one of the things that I have done, you don't need to worry about this. If you look up here in the top right hand, you'll see those colourful things, and you'll see the pink, the green and the pink, and the more pink there is, that is the more bone repair. So one of the things that I have done is to design drugs that can activate bone repair by activating the stem cells in bone. So that just gives you a little overview of what I've been doing. But I'm sorry, I've just talked for the whole 10 minutes and haven't given you a chance to ask a question. And it looks like we're out of the breakout rooms. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat when we go back into the other room and we can discuss.